This plan is giving us an opportunity to take stock of the key sources of our greenhouse gas emissions, to see where we stand as a city, and also to suggest ways that we can be able to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by setting targets based on data and verifiable information, and then with those actions have a trajectory to be able to be carbon neutral by 2050. As we all know, the Paris Agreement sets a carbon neutrality standard for 2050. So all the cities and countries that are signing up or have signed up to the Paris Agreement is targeting, ensuring that by 2050 they are carbon neutral. So this plan has been put together to kind of bring all of us to the same page, understand the real state of affairs now, and the actions and steps that we have to be undertaking in line with government policy, in line with current technologies, and also project new technologies that may come into effect to be able to ensure that the city of Accra prospers, grows, yet does not become a city that emits carbon dioxide, but meets the target set by the Paris Agreement.
The last time you conducted a greenhouse inventory for Accra was in 2015, and the results of that inventory show that waste contributes 44% of greenhouse emission within the AMA. And you know, it's quite significant, because if waste alone is accounting for 44%, that's the highest contributor of GHG as far as Accra is concerned.
And so this plan has been put together to be able to help us identify the specific sources of our emissions. And per the inventory, in 2015, we're emitting about 30% of our greenhouse gases from the transportation section, and also 26% of our greenhouse gases from energy.
The current climate situation globally hinges on transport issues, waste management, and other issues that concern emissions. So definitely Accra has a peculiar problem with transport. Let me say that the city image as far as transportation is concerned is something that we need to work on. If you look at a general traffic mix, you find lots of private cars, and then you find some few trotros. The implications for emissions when engines run in slow traffic, congested, and for a long time, the quality of the air basically is compromised. So the main issues of transportation in Accra are not the best for the city image, and they definitely need to improve, especially in terms of the fleet outlook, and also to say that people's residences from workplaces, this kind of structure must also change if we want to do something very positive for the environment.
That we believe we can be able to reduce our emissions by 30% by 2030, and then by another 20+% by 2040, and then we will be carbon neutral 73% by 2050. There is also what we call residual emissions. So it doesn't matter the kind of actions that you take, there are some emissions which are kind of stable. But as far as possible, we will be able to reduce our man-made emissions, even though we will be growing as a city.
As we adore these action plans, I think it's important that it cuts across political lines. It is so important that it is part of our investment ideals, policies, directives, and programs in the long term. It is only through sustained investment into these actions that will make it possible for us to achieve the end goals. Without that, we may end up, conducting some ad hoc actions that may not, yield any benefits to us as Ghanaians. But then, as already said, we owe it as responsibility to ourselves, our nation, posterity, to ensure that we leave a good city to them.
The future we are envisaging is a future where we live our lives, we thrive as a city, we have an inclusive city, yet our impact on the environment is reduced.